First up, breaking news coming in. Lives of 130 passengers were put at risk as a damaged Air India aircraft made an emergency landing in Mumbai. The aircraft had hit the boundary wall at the Trichy Airport, but the aircraft only landed in Mumbai. And we're bringing you these exclusive images of the damaged aircraft after it landed in Mumbai, and it's showing a gaping hole in the flight's fuselage. Viren Farao joining us live from the newsroom. Viren, this is an extremely significant incident that has taken place, a serious incident that has taken place. But what's most alarming here is the fact that this aircraft had hit the boundary wall at the Trichy Airport, yet it was allowed to fly till Mumbai.
That's right, and we had to get details from Air India as to why that happened. Off here from the air traffic controller as well. But let's show you some of those pictures now. This is a picture of the damaged fuselage of this plane. You can see the extent of the damage that it's done. It's hit this boundary wall. You can see the gaping hole in the fuselage of this Air India flight that took off from Trichy. It was on its way to Dubai, and then it ultimately made its way to Mumbai, where then after some time carried on, we understand, to Dubai. But you can see the amount of damage that it did. The question also that must be asked, of course, is, was a judgment they made that this was airworthy? Because immediately after this flight took off, the air traffic controller was alerted to the situation on the ground. There was a loud noise from that impact with the boundary wall. And you can see here the damage to different parts of the fuselage, particularly to the undercarriage of this flight, that shows this massive hole that this flight carried on. It had 130 passengers on board at the time, and they flew all the way from there to Mumbai. They were in the air for about 4 long hours. So who took the call, of course, to have this flight stay in the air for that long, with the extent of damage that we see at the moment, because even in cases of bird hits, usually flights are immediately asked to make an emergency landing at the closest airport. But Mumbai is not close to Trichy at all. In fact, it is many thousand kilometers away, and the flight had to make the journey all the way, and only then was it asked to land in Mumbai.
Right, Viren, thanks for bringing us those details. We also have Pramod Madhav now joining us live for more on this. Pramod, any confirmation coming in as to what really took place at the airport?
Well, we right now have the visuals of what kind of damage has occurred to the aircraft, and the flight that took around 1:30 a.m. as per the authorities' information stated that there were guiding lights that was close to the boundaries to make sure that the runway ends at that point, and this particular aircraft, while taking off, has hit that light structure. That is the complete full of beams and everything. It has damaged that structure, hit the compound wall. It has hit the compound wall on 2 areas, damaged it, and then it has taken off. And the air traffic control has immediately informed the flight that such an incident has occurred. However, the authorities also claim that the pilot has replied stating that he can manage to fly, and that's how they let go of the flight instead of making a turnaround and once again come back to Trichy Airport. However, after 4 hours, it was rerouted to Mumbai. There the flight has landed. As per the minister's bite and the authorities' bite here, passengers are safe, but the underbelly of the aircraft is completely damaged. You could see in those pictures, actually, there's a huge gorge on it, and the right side turbine is also damaged because of this accident.
Right, so you're telling us there has been a confirmation that this incident took place at Trichy Airport, and we're getting those, playing out those images as well, the damage that was done to the aircraft. Yet, Pramod, this aircraft was allowed to fly till Mumbai, and that is when the passengers were deplaned.
Yes, it should be investigated because, as I said earlier, this particular aircraft, once the air traffic control has informed that it has hit the certain structures and it has acquired a significant amount of damage, it could have immediately made a U-turn and would have landed at Trichy Airport itself, or the next big airport we have, Madurai. and Chennai, but it had flight for 4 hours continuously, and only then it was rerouted to Mumbai. We are not sure as to if it was the pilot who took the decision or it was from the other control room or what, but that has to be that will be only revealed after investigation. But for now, the Trichy Air Traffic Control authorities have made it very clear that the pilot was informed. Still, the pilot insisted that he could fly the aircraft.
All right, Pramod, Madhav, continue being with us. Let's also get in a word from Vipul Saxena, who's an aviation expert. Vipul, thanks for speaking with Mirror Now this morning. Now, we're reporting this incident where a massive tragedy, in fact, has been averted. After this plane hit the compound wall at the Trichy Airport, considerable damage was also done to the aircraft, images of which we are showing. Yet, there was a decision that was made to fly this aircraft till Mumbai, and that is when the passengers were deplaned. Now, your response to on the decision that was taken and the reason behind this could have perhaps happened.
Firstly, the pictures are really horrifying, and I'm sure since the aircraft hit the wall, even wall must have collapsed, because the kind of damage it has done to the belly of the aircraft, I mean, it's really very, very dangerous. And subsequent to that, firstly, I would come to the reason why it could have happened. It could be a delay in the takeoff. I mean, there's this phase where you have to unstick the aircraft to start commence the climb. Okay, probably that was delayed by the pilot or co-pilot, whoever was on the control. That could have been the reason, or maybe some miscalculation in the weight. All that thing will come out only once we get the investigation report. But possible reasons are basically they ran out of takeoff length on the runway. That could have been one of the reasons.
Right, but Vipul Saxena, I just want to ask you, for the benefit of our viewers, when you have an incident of this sort actually taking place, what is the standard operating procedure? Is a flight allowed to take off? Is it the discretion of the pilot, or is it the decision of the air traffic controller of what needs to be done next, whether that emergency landing needs to be made in Mumbai, or for that matter, whether the flight carries on all the way to Dubai?
In such situation, the aircraft cannot continue to fly, because this kind of damage, when it comes at such a high speed, I'm sure there must have been a huge impact on the aircraft, and even the passenger could feel the kind of impact that has come. So in that situation, the first thing pilot should have done, without even talking to ATC, should have asked for the emergency landing or priority landing, and check the aircraft, and then only should have taken the further action. There was no question of continuing with the flight. And despite the fact, as you reported, that ATC also informed them that they hit the wall. But nevertheless, aircraft, once it hits any object, pilot does come to know what kind of damage it must have caused to the aircraft. So there's no question of continuing with this flight. He should have landed back. Hello?
Right, Vipul Saxena there. Thanks for sharing your views on this incident. We'll, of course, keep a close eye on the official statement that Air India comes out with after the investigation is over of this entire incident. Thanks for joining in and getting us your views here. And these are images of that incident that took place at Trichy Airport. And these are images of the aircraft that suffered serious damage, and after which there was a decision that was made to fly this aircraft till Mumbai, and that is when this aircraft was deplaned and passengers were asked to take another flight. There were arrangements made by the Air India of another aircraft which finally took the passengers to Dubai. Air Marshal Kapil Kak joining us now on the phone line. Air Marshal Kapil, thanks for speaking to Mirror Now this morning. Now, your response on the decision that was made by the authorities to let this aircraft fly till Mumbai city. Now, if you could throw more light on why perhaps this decision could have been taken.
No, I think the first point is that, I have been saying on your channel as also other TV channels over the last 2 years that with the rapid expansion of tourism and travel, our airlines are under great stress, margins are low, and they're tending to take shortcuts. And this is something very serious. It's just that we are every time the nation is lucky and is not losing hundreds of people. And that day, I'm afraid, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is not far. So that's my first critical point. The second critical point is, yes, you raised the most fundamental professional question. I'd like to compliment you, Urvashi, because air traffic control is to see that aircraft taking off. He's not blind. He has to see it. The way the air traffic control is located at every single airport, every country in this world, it has to see the takeoff path so that pilot who's inside knows what's happening around his aircraft. Now, the first question is, did anybody observe his low takeoff? This is decidedly a late rotation. Rotation is the time at which the aircraft wheels are taken off at a certain speed. It's called the speed of rotation, VR. At VR, he takes the nose wheel up, and then the main wheels also start coming up, and he gets airborne. That point must be sufficiently displaced from the other end of the runway as also a perimeter for him to safely clear it. Obviously, firstly, the pilot's mistake is rotated late. Is he overladen? Has he got too many passengers? Has too much load? That is a factor which is professional, only pilot can answer. The second question is, who allowed him after the air traffic control? Now, this is where the air traffic controls, blameworthiness lies. That they see this aircraft taking off so low and assess that he could probably be damaged by that wall. And therefore, was it safe for him to continue that flight? This is the most crucial question. If he has damaged the wall, did not the pilots in the aircraft feel that there is a certain judder if you're hitting something at that low speed? So both sides, the cockpit crew, the ground control in terms of air traffic control, are at the crucial stage of takeoff, have to answer many, many questions, which will come in the court of inquiry. Now, the third point is, which I don't have the wisdom, nor have you at this point of time, as I understand, at what stage of this flight did the pilots, I would only call them bozos, realize that there's something wrong with the aircraft? After all, they have taken the decision to come back to Mumbai. How and why? What did they find wrong with this aircraft? Because after all, if they took off at 1:30, landed back at 5:30, what were they doing in the air for 4 hours? This is what they have to answer. Now, how did they get to know there is something wrong with the aircraft? Last point is, I think, praiseworthy. That's, as the Persians say, Dera is durustah. It's come late, but it's after all come. Which is that they have belatedly realized there is something wrong, which is a good thing. In this completely perverse and completely, absolutely grim situation, they have realized and safely landed the aircraft. Now, of course, we will all debate in the media, the court of inquiry will come in, but these passengers need to go to their gods and goddesses and thank them for the mercy of saving their lives.
Right. Marshall Kapil Kak there. Many thanks for sharing your valuable views here on this entire incident. As you mentioned, more details are only going to tumble out when the investigation is over. Many thanks for joining in.